Pledge, please. Chris, could you lead us to the pledge, sir?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of silence for the men and women in the armed forces, our first responders, our veterans, and those fighting the good fight in the Ukraine. Thank you. Katie?
Creed,
Yep. Let me grab mine.
The American's Creed by William Tyler Page. Would you like to read along? I believe in the United States of America as a government of the people, by the people, for the people, whose just powers are derived from the consent of the governed, a democracy and a republic, a sovereign nation of many sovereign states, a perfect union, one and inseparable, established upon these principles of freedom, equality, justice, and humanity, for which American patriots suffered or sacrificed their lives and fortunes. I therefore believe it is my duty to my country to love it, to support its Constitution, to obey its laws, and to respect its flag, and to defend it against all enemies.
Thank you. And let's start first with, is Leo here? There he is. All right. So we, here in the council, we'd like to really highlight achievement, success, and excellence. We're going to start off tonight with one of those young gentlemen right now. That happens to be Leo. Leo, come on up.
Thank you so much.
So for those that are watching tonight, Leo, that may not know about your super success, I'm going to let them know a little bit. Okay? All right. So you won multiple recognitions for your writing at the regional level of the Scholastic Arts and Writing Award. You also have a national level award, and I believe it's 5 times now?
Yeah, 5 years in a row.
That is absolutely outstanding.
Thank you.
I can't thank you enough for that. I'd like to give you a achievement certificate here. The town of New Milford would like to recognize New Milford High School student Leo Malcolm.
Yeah.
All right, I did it right.
Yeah.
For receiving a national gold medal in the short story category in the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards contest. Leo has won multiple recognitions for his writing at the regional level. This is the 5th year in a row that Leo has won the national medal in this competition. Absolutely outstanding, Leo.
Thank you so much.
Very photo worthy. Okay. Look at that. Some more. And thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Great job.
Thank you.
job, Bill.
Thank you.
There you go.
This is Bill.
Am I over there, right?
No.
Thanks.
Yep. Okay. Let's bring in our wrestling squad. Absolutely.
Good, need a wrestler to handle all these.
Bring him in.
They're not there.
He's not here. I'm sorry, sir. Be in your way.
Thanks, Mike.
Start with the coach. Field.
Come on in, guys.
Don't be shy.
Come on in.
Come on.
Come on in.
So many of you watch quite a few.
All right. Get that leg.
Okay,
You have everybody?
guess so. Coach, is your coach here?
Coach is coming.
Okay,
Okay, gotta give a minute for the coach
All right.
to come in.
okay.
All right. So while we're waiting for Coach P, those who are watching tonight and those in the audience tonight, we just talked a little bit about excellence with Leo. Now we're going to talk about excellence in wrestling. New Milford is known for this, and you guys just keep bringing it. So I got to say congratulations, outstanding. A little bit about the wrestling team this year. 8-0 in the SWC, undefeated, outstanding. They also won the Colonial Division. During the regular season, the wrestling team won the Frank Chavez Simsbury Tournament, the Bristol Central Tournament, and the New Milford Wrestling Tournament. The team went on to win the SWC Championship, as we talked about before. With Alex Olberg, Tinning Lim, Brandon Olmstead, and Kaylee Borelli, I probably mispronounced your name, I apologize, winning their weight classes, earning first team all SWC recognition. Caden Reynolds, Brennan Batello, Angelo Fernandez, Adam Olberg, and Chris Reese all earned second team all SWC recognition. Tyler Russell and Ryder Langonis earned honorable mention all SWC. Kelly was named the most outstanding wrestler of the tournament. The team was runner-up in the CIAC Class L Championships. 13 of these athletes placed in the top 6 in their weight class, with Mr. Borelli becoming the state champion in his weight class. Congratulations, outstanding. The team then finished 4th in the CIAC State Open Championships. Again, Mr. Borelli winning the Open Championship in his weight class, and Alex Olberg placing 5th, which qualified them both for the New England Championships. Absolutely outstanding. What I'd like to do is read some of the names. Coach, if you can come over and start with you, Coach P. Coach, the town of New Milford would like to recognize the New Milford High School wrestling team for finishing the regular season 8-0 in the SWC, earning them the regular season Colonial Division Championship. During the regular season, the wrestling team won, as we talked about before, the Frank Chavez Simsbury Tournament, the Bristol Central Tournament, the New Milford Wrestling Tournament, and the team went on to win the SWC Championship. Absolutely outstanding, Coach. Again.
It's a good group of kids, but they got even better parents.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Okay. Is Assistant Coach Sylvester here tonight? No, he's not. Okay.
All right,
So we'll put that over here. Okay. I'm going to read your name off. If I mispronounce your last name, I apologize. Going up front. Matthew Alfano. Matthew, are you here tonight? No. Okay. And we've got Brennan Patello. Are you here? Come on in. And I believe you're state champion in your weight class, right? No, you're not? I thought you were. Next year. All right. Congrats. Outstanding. Good job. Congratulations. Next, we have Mr. Bergelli. Come on up. I know you're state champion. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Outstanding season.
Thank you.
Congrats. Derek?
Next is Derek. Come stand with Derek. Come on up. Congratulations. Great job. Next, Michael Cruz. Mike. Okay. How about Angelo Fernandez? Angelo. Ricardi Fernandez. Okay. Joseph Fleming. Okay. Benjamin Foss. Okay. Victor Nietzsche. Victor, are you here? Ryder. Langotis, Ryder, you here? Tynan, Lim. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Victor Martins. Victor. Okay. Okay, is Lincoln here? Lincoln Meltzer, okay. How about Declan O'Brien?
No, Declan.
Okay.
Adam?
How about Adam Oberg? Adam, there you are. Great job, Adam. Great season. Congratulations. Thank you. Alex Oberg. Alex. Congratulations. Thank you. Great job. Thank you. Braden Olmsted. Braden. 17, right? SWC? First team, there we go. Adrian Philtopoulos.
Get out of the way.
Congrats.
Thank you. Shaitan?
Shaitan. Phoenix. Is Phoenix here? Christopher. Congratulations on this. Caden. Jameer. Jameer here.
He's not here.
Okay,
He's
thank
not
you.
here.
Tyler. Nicholas Sandberg. Nick? No. Frank Scalia. Frank. Danilo. Danilo here. No? Okay. Shane Simpson. Shane. Noah. There he is. Aiden. All right. Artesio.
No? Who? Artesio White?
Artesio White.
Who? Everett.
Everett. Outstanding. Excellent. Coach, can we give these to you? Sure. And again, we want to thank the team. Outstanding job. Way to represent New Milford. The colors, the town. You guys just outstanding. We're so proud of you guys and everything you've done this year and in past years, Coach. Just outstanding. Congratulations, guys. Go Green Wave.
It's a lot of wrestlers.
That's a big team.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Let me see if we got anybody on the phone.
Doug was gonna call in. Might have given up by now.
Which numbers?
Good, yeah. I slept in bed for the first time.
Oh, did you?
Last night, yeah.
That's good.
Well, kind of slept.
Welcome. To join the conference now, please enter meeting number followed by pound. If you are the meeting host, please enter your PIN. Otherwise,
1, 0.
6010.
Oh.
the PIN you entered is invalid. Please
Is anybody on the call? Let's see, let me just- Katie?
Nobody there? Not yet. Okay.
Consent agenda?
Yes, sir. Item 5, I'd like to move to accept items 5A, B, C, D1, and D2.
Second?
Any discussion on the consent agenda?
I'd like to just mention a few things for the social services. Would like to make a thank you for $5,000 to MVP SOS and $5,600 from the New Milford Refugee Resettlement Committee. These funds were donated to enhance the scholarship funds for summer camp at Parks and Rec, and they'll assist the social services in helping with a 50% scholarship for an additional 26 kids to attend 6 weeks of camp this summer. The item D is from Parks and Rec, and they'd like to thank the following. This is all donations for the egg hunt. $75 from M&O, $75 from Meadowbrook, $75 from Mulvaney Mechanical, $100 from Union Savings Bank, $75 from Savings Bank of Danbury. These donations will be placed in the New Milford Parks and Rec Gift Fund. And on D2, Parks and Rec would like to thank the following people for their donations for the 8-mile and 5K road race. $250 from Emmons Tree, $500 Mountain High Organics, $250 from O'Brien Insurance, $1,000 from O'Keefe Orthodontics, $100 from Midway Market, $250 from New Milford Rehabilitation, $250 from Matson Financial, $250 from Candlewood Valley Pediatrics, and these items, monetary donations, will be deposited in the Recreation Revenue Account number 104-50500-44709.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the consent agenda? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Item 6 is a presentation from the Girl Scouts on Bee City.
So as we are trying to become the first bee city in Connecticut, the Girl Scouts have been kindly helping us with our Bee City Committee, our chairman here, Nick Pooter's here, and they're going to give us a presentation on what's been going on. Ladies?
Hello. We are the Silver Award candidates from Girl Scout Troop 40297, Laura Boucher, Elizabeth Dimmick, Miranda King, and Isabella Pilch. About a year ago, we discovered that New Milford was attempting to become a bee city, a program which encourages pollinator-friendly practices. One of the requirements the town has to meet is community outreach and education. We decided that we could take this on for the town. We reached out to the mayor, who welcomed us and introduced us to the Bee City Committee, which we now attend monthly. Tonight, we are here on behalf of the committee to let you know what we have achieved and what we still have planned.
Why should we become a bee city? Did you know that 46 out of the 50 states in the United States have bee cities in Connecticut? But Connecticut is not one of them. We have campuses and bee-friendly parks, but not a bee city. Milford already has many environmentally friendly initiatives. Becoming a bee city fits perfectly with who we are as a town. Our overall goal was to make New Milford a bee city by the end of this summer. With our current path that we are on, we are looking to get it done by around the end of May, and are very excited to be sharing this with all of you. What is the town doing? Currently, the town has a Bee City committee that meets once a month on Wednesdays from 7 to 8 p.m., and us Girl Scouts who are also helping in the town. In addition to the committee chair, Mr. Nick Potter, the members, and the mayor, we have worked with Mr. Jack Healy and the head of Public Works, and Mr. Michael Boucher, the highway foreman, who have helped us with our events, in addition to, of course, doing all of the extensive plannings of native pollinator habitat and signage, and eliminating pesticide by the use of this town. The mayor also created an online presence on the town website to inform residents about Bee City.
What are we, the Girl Scouts, doing? We are hosting many educational events for different age groups. For adults and teens, we have already hosted a free screening of The Pollinators, a documentary, followed by a discussion with the filmmaker and executive producer. That was on the 15th of April, and it was a big success. We have also done Earth Day story times at Burnham Library in Bridgewater and the New Milford Public Library for elementary-aged children. We taught them not to fear bees and about all the good they could do. We even made bee houses with some of them. Our next upcoming event is at the New Milford Public Library, where we will do a teen chat, talking to local teens about the Bee City initiative and what they can do to help. Next, we will be participating in festivals. We are participating in Goat Days and the Teddy Bear Fest with fun activities to spread the word about Bee City. At all of our events, we have been distributing pollinator seed packets and our very own pamphlet all about New Milford's Bee City efforts, which we made by working with the real graphic designer, Linda Pooter, a local resident who donated her expertise. What can residents do? Something we as citizens can do is to eliminate our pesticide use, which seems to be a leading cause to our bee decline, shop locally and organically, and plant native pollinators that make good pollinator habitat. Participate in No Mow May or dedicate areas of your yard to pollinators by not mowing them at all. This helps pollinators emerge in spring and protects their habitat. Finally, you can buy or build bee houses to install for all of the solitary bees that don't live in hives. That's 90% of all bees in North America. By doing these things, you are all helping New Milford become a bee city one step at a time.
Finally, before we go, we want to give a shout out to our sister scouts in Troop 40067 here in New Milford. They are a younger junior troop of 5th graders working on their Bronze Award, and they are working on a related project we'd like you to check out. They have been researching the harmful effects of rodenticides and pesticides. They have learned that planting the right plants can be just as effective in keeping pests away as using dangerous chemicals. We would love for you to learn more from them at the Garden Club plant sale on the Green on May 20th. Please, meet us at Goat Days and Teddy Bear Fest, and go see them at the plant sale. Thank you all so much for listening to our presentation, and before we go, we have given you seed packets and copies of our pamphlet for anyone who would like them. Thank you.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
Can I have, is it printed what you were saying? What you were saying, can I have a copy?
Yes, you have brochures and
I think she wants your subscription.
Okay.
And ladies, outstanding presentation, and just like at our meetings, just outstanding work. Does anybody from the council would like to talk to our scouts? Any comments? Katie?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned No Mow May. I saw that was in the paper also. Hopefully you'll get everyone in town to do that,
Yes, we
because
really.
that would really be great, you know. I also think it's great that you as a scout troop took this on, and you've done so much in such a short amount of time. And I think we sitting here could probably learn something from that, all the meetings we have, and look what you've gotten done. So thank you very much for doing it, and thank Mr. and Mrs. Pooter for the lovely package that you made.
Thank you.
Chris?
Yeah, I'd like to say, great job again. I was at the showing of the movie The Pollinator at Bank Street that you all brought to us, and I would say anybody out there, I think it's available on Netflix. You can see it. It's a great movie. I had no idea that the majority of bees, or is it Amazon? I'm sorry, Amazon. Thank you, Mike. That pollinate the crops, the almonds in California and the blueberries in Maine, are actually trucked by these commercial outfits that truck our bees, because we don't have enough bees in the country to do it naturally. So it's a great thing you guys are doing. You're so poised up there and here, so thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say a quick thank you for doing this work. This is such important, amazing work, and I thought it was such an interesting idea to plant plants instead of pesticides and herbicides. So I'm really excited to learn all about that and use those plants. That is really fantastic information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary Jane?
Yes, I'd like to just echo all those great sentiments you've just heard, and I'm just so happy that you're encouraging the town not to use pesticides on the sides of the road, because you know, all that stuff just goes into the streams and into the water supply, and I've been harping on it for years, so thank you. And No Mow May is tough to get through. But, you know, your yard looks like, oh my God, this is terrible, but it is a really good thing to do for the bees, so thank you.
Thank you.
Keep spreading the word.
I'm working on No Mow Eagle.
Yeah.
Great job. Great job, ladies.
No
Outstanding.
more
Thank
period.
Okay, mayor's comments, gotta follow that.
I was gonna say, I gotta follow that. First is on Friday, April 28th, is the New Milford Police Department, in cooperation with New Milford Can, is going to be at the Senior Center, is doing the Drug Take Back Day from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if you have some drugs that you want to dispose of in a proper way, this is definitely a great chance to do that. So thanks to the police department, the Milford Can, and also to the Triad and our senior center. Kind of real quickly too, the library update as we continue to kind of finalize everything at the library, as well as get the punch list prepared. I've also asked our IT director, Dave Watson, and the Milford Police Department Chief Ceruto, our fire marshal, for their opinions on library safety for our residents and our employees. We're continuing to build enhancements within that safety protocol within the library. We've done we continue with our parking study update. We talked about hiring a consultant. We awarded the study to SLR, which is formerly named Malone and McBroom. We had our kickoff meeting this past week concerning the actual traffic study and what is it going to entail. Is the scope of work that's going to happen for this parking study is we're going to do background material review. They're going to review the relevant studies and reports that have already happened in downtown. It's including but not limited to the 1996 downtown parking study, the POCD, Riverfront Revitalization Report, the townwide marketing study, town GIS database mapping of zoning, land use, ownership, and public spaces. We're also going to do a parking inventory. We're going to confirm the town's inventory of on-street and public off-street parking supply. Also, inventory the private parking supply within the study area. We're going to confirm and identify the relevant elements, including ADA accessible parking spaces, existing on-street parking spaces within 25 feet of a crosswalk, loading zones, and fire hydrants. We're also going to do parking counts. We're going to conduct parking utilization counts within the area. They're going to document the total number of parked vehicles in a 2-hour intervals by location for each parking lot, including the hospital, and each block of on-street parking. We are also going to conduct parking duration turnover counts that will be conducted at select on-street parking areas. We're then going to analyze the existing parking demands. We're going to look at weekday peak period profiles of parking utilization. And then as part of the effort, we're going to project, we're going to have the project staff also reach out to our police department to gain further insight about parking usage in the project areas, including time limit infractions and needs and other relevant data. We're also going to look at future parking demands and estimates. We're going to estimate the new future parking demands that could be added to the downtown by the planned development as we were talking about, whether it be riverfront revitalization or right here, the new affordable housing complex that's going to be across the street on Church Street. We're also going to identify future constraints. We're going to identify any possible future constraints that may contribute to the future parking shortfalls and parking management needs here in the downtown. We're going to identify future opportunities, whether it's increased use of shared parking and privately owned parking through incentives, or increased public parking supply through line restriping and structured parking, and creating new parking. We're also going to vet out parking recommendations. We're also going to have at least one community stakeholder meeting, and then we're going to present the findings to the council and then do a finalization of the study. So thank you to SLR, and I'll be updating the council as we continue to move forward with this project. Also want to talk a little real quickly too about speaking with Chief Cerruto today in the New Milford Police Department. Traffic. As we all know, traffic plays an important part here in New Milford, especially in our major corridors, whether it be Route 7, 202, Grove Street. And I wanted to provide some stats that I got from the chief today. And year-to-date stats, so far motor vehicle stops that the police department has done. Year-to-date is 572, and that's from January to today. Last year at this time, we did 470. That's an increase of 102, which is about a 21% increase. Motor vehicle accidents so far this year, one's too many. So far it's at 196. This time last year was 215. That's less 19, which is a 9% reduction so far. Obviously, we want it to be less, and that can be done, as we've talked about, several ways. One is traffic enforcement, which we're going to continue to do, and the chief has been very aggressive about it. Also, distracted driving. They had they got a grant, and I believe they had 104 or 105 stops with the grant. Also enforcing bus when they stop, making sure that people know that they need to stop when the bus lights are red, as we've talked about here and all sorts of other places. If the bus lights are red, you need to stop. The only time you don't stop is if you're going the opposite way and there is a median or there's an obstruction between you and the other lane going in the opposite direction. Other than that, you must stop. It's a $400 fine if you don't. Also continuing to look at ways to work with our legislature. So our state representatives and state senator are working on a couple initiatives that we've asked them to do, that we've talked about here. One is to light their Route 7 from a little bit before the school where the commercial condos are all the way up to Veterans Bridge. We continue to work with DOT to find out how we can do that, what's the best uses for that. Also, with our DPW engineers and our traffic authority, we are looking at getting approval from Connecticut DOT to make the area by the high school, which is south of the high school, right by the commercial condos, to the traffic light, past the school, to be a school zone.
Right now, currently, that's not a school zone. There's a school there, should be a school zone, which would reduce the speed limit and would double the fines. So that would be a way to try to mitigate some of the high speeds that we're seeing in that area, especially for the young kids that happen to walk in that area. We are getting sidewalks in that area, as we've talked about before. That construction hopefully will begin in the summertime, with Beta being the design engineer for that. Also working with our state representatives and our state senator on looking to put a traffic light at Willow Springs. We've talked about that before. The state has been very hesitant because 50 years ago, a Willow Springs developer was supposed to put a light in and never did. I've continued to explain to Connecticut DOT that was back when it was a 2-lane highway. The state put in a 4-lane highway, so guess what? Put in a 4-lane, you should put in a light. I'll continue to update the council as we continue to go through that as well. Last week, Chief Ceruto and the Milford Fire Department, we had our active shooter tabletop training that was at the New Milford Ambulance Barn. We had the police department, the fire departments, fire chiefs. We had the ambulance. We had the CERT teams, and we had the Fire Marshal Kevin Reynolds, Assistant Deputy Fire Marshal Ed Pagan. We had Superintendent Dr. Parlato and BOE Facilities Director Matt Cunningham. We also had Mike Boucher from DPW there as well. And this is our continued training for unfortunate incidences that we've seen, unfortunately, in the nation. We want to be very prepared to make sure that our residents know that we are prepared and we are ready in case unfortunate incidences do happen. And we're going to continue to do this type of training, unfortunate as it is. We're also going to be, I spoke with our EOC director today, Jim Furlow. We're going to be doing tabletop training when it comes to weather incidences, whether you have mass blackouts due to weather-related incidents. How do we react with that? How does all that work? I'll be updating the council as we continue to move forward with that. Also, speaking on DPW, a lot of our accidents center around Hine Hill Road and Grove Street due to the elevation and due to the Grove Street really becoming a major collector road now. And you have some people that, they're trying to make their time to get to where they need to go for work or whatnot, so they'll try and jump into traffic making that left-hand turn, and there are accidents that happen. So I've asked our DPW team, what can we do correctively to really help with that without really binding up more traffic as it is? So they've been working on it, Jack and Mark Rosa. Some of the things that we're looking at first is additional signage, which is fine and good. Also working, trying to get the different types of, whether it's Garmin or whatever, to not use that as a route for navigation. That takes time and a lot of letters to do that. We're working on that. And then the third is, what could we do as far as structurally? So they, Mark and Jack, were one of the solutions they're talking about is putting a mini roundabout there. And putting a mini roundabout is going to be complex because you have the elevation that's there. So we're going to be putting out a RFP for a specialized design engineer to come in to try and talk to us about that opportunity, if it is indeed something that we can do. But we do need to work on that intersection, as we see that's one that creates a lot of traffic, a lot of accidents. We did receive funding, what's called LOTSIP funding, for the Pumpkin Hill Still River intersection, where we're going to be getting federal funding for that. And what they're going to do is widen that out a little bit so that you can do a left-hand lane to come right into Still River rather than just the 2 small lanes they have now that backs up traffic off of Pumpkin Hill. And also work on fixing up the railroad crossing there. That's much needed work. Housatonic Railroad is responsible for that, but for those that do drive that and all the other railroad crossings, when your suspension rattles, you realize they are very slow in doing that. So the state has agreed that we could wrap that into the grant, and I'll be talking more about that as we move forward.
Our New Milford roof project's continuing on. They're going to be looking at putting in the flat roofs, hopefully in the next few weeks now that the weather has gotten a little warmer. We're supposed to get frost tonight and tomorrow night, but for these flat roofs, you have to have asphalt and it has to be hot. So we're hoping that that'll be completed. If you haven't had a chance to go down there and take a look now, it's about 93, 94% complete. Looks beautiful, and hopefully we can get that completed. Quick congratulations to our New Milford High School boys lacrosse team as they won 17-2 over Shelton, and they're starting out 7-0 for the season. So amazing. The New Milford PTO is having their New Milford pop-up shop open until the 26th. It's a great chance to get some nice New Milford merchandise, and we'll post online where to go to click the hyperlink. You can go on the mayor's Facebook page and take a look. It's got the hyperlink for that. All those proceeds go to the Senior Scholarship Fund, so if you get a chance, please go and support the Green Wave. I want to congratulate Western Connecticut State University, and he's a New Milford resident and student, former student, Brandon Pancoast, for achieving the 2023 Henry Bernard Distinguished Student Award. And Brandon was a decorated U.S. Army veteran. Came back, did actual service tour in Afghanistan. Thank you for his service. Where he's studying to begin his path toward law school. He's received his BS in Justice and Law Administration. And the Ballard Distinguished Service Award showcases excellence of the individual in the classroom, campus, and community. I want to congratulate the Elephant's Trunk as they were named the Connecticut Magazine Best Flea Market in Connecticut. And as we all know, thousands of people go there on a Sunday to see that. They've had television shows there, and Mr. Young does a great job as the owner. I want to congratulate Shane Newman of Yardscapes for receiving the NSDAR Conservation Medal and the NSDAR Community Service Award. Shane and Yardscapes, they do lots of things for the community. They do their Quad Am Golf Classic. They volunteer within our community, helping out the VCA, Pratt Center, Community Culinary School, just to name a few. I want to thank the Daughters of the American Revolution, the Roger Sherman chapter, the Regent, Heidi Norcross, for really highlighting Shane. I also want to thank Representative Buckby for honoring them at this event, so thank you. I want to congratulate the New Milford High School varsity softball team. They had a 26-0 shutout of Colby Cathedral, and Neil Plitzko now has 2 no-hitters in the last 4 games. That's pretty amazing.
Something in the water.
And as we just saw, the Girl Scouts of 40297, they are going for their silver award, and they came and presented to us tonight. And this past weekend, they did a wonderful kind of show and tell to the kids at the library about bees and pollinators, so they're doing a great job. I want to thank Alfredo Navarez and the New Milford Flag Football Organization. They had a jamboree over the weekend, over 300 new young players playing flag football, up at over 300, up at Sarah Noble School. So thank you to the coaches that give their time, the refs, the parents, the players. And also want to thank the New Milford Militia. That's our semi-pro football team. They were there with the big helmet that throws out the steam and the fog. Also had a chance to stop by our rowing, GMS Rowing, that does great endeavors there, and they had their open house. It's great to see all the young kids are there, and hopefully once my knee gets all up there, I'm going to give it a shot. It's on my bucket list. So.
Sport, man. That's
yeah, it is. I also want to thank Chris Bazance and the board of the New Milford Youth Baseball and Softball, as they had their opening day this past Saturday. We had Water Witch there with the fire truck with the flag honor, so it was great to see that. Congratulations to our Senior Center Corn Stars cornhole team as they defeated New Fairfield and brought back the trophy, the medal of the trophy.
Cornhole Cup.
Yeah, they
Right.
had it, and they won it back again.
And just as a reminder, the New Milford High School post-secondary planning for juniors and parents is this coming Wednesday, 7 p.m. at the New Milford High School Theater. the New Milford High School Counseling Department will present valuable information about the college application process, steps you can take now, and you can get ahead of the curve that way. You'll also hear from admissions representatives from both state and private universities, and students and parents will have the opportunity to ask questions. So if you do have a junior, please come down to the Milford High School Theater, 7 p.m. on Wednesday. And lastly, as we continue to go through the budget process, we have our special town budget meeting May 2nd at 7 p.m. right here. And then the referendum, correct, is on the 16th of May. And we're asking everyone to come out and vote your choice on the referendum. Thank you, Katie. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Item 8 is a finance update from Finance Director.
Oh, Hillary, I'm sorry.
I had several questions. There was a lot of
sorry.
information there. Thank you. That was a lot. That was great to know all those things. I was wondering, I think I'll go to the traffic study first, and then backtrack up to the library. But I wondered if, because I find that, like, the speed that people are traveling now is what's so daunting. And I wondered if in all those stats, have the deaths gone up this year? And I know the accidents are worse, or is that also less? I hope it is. I just wanted to know that.
They actually have gone down.
Oh, great.
I thought I had it here. Here we go. I thought I had it here, Hillary.
Route
Oh, here we
7
go.
seems to be a
Motor
speedway.
vehicle accidents. I'll get that number from the chief. It doesn't show up on this as the deaths year over year,
Okay.
but I'll get that for you. I know it's down, but I don't have the exact number.
Down from last year. Well, that's good news then. I just kept reading more, worse and worse accidents, and I just thought, what is that stat? But thank you. And then I didn't. Our visitors were leaving. I didn't hear what you said about the library. There's security. What did you
So
say?
the library, what we're looking to do is I'd asked our IT department, I've asked our fire marshal, I've asked our building inspector and police chief. I've asked them to take a look to see if there's any other security enhancements that we could put in if needed.
Okay.
That were not in the building design. So we're looking at those enhancements.
Gotcha. And I heard a glass got broken, or was that just rumor?
In the very beginning, there was a glass broken in the back.
Okay.
We don't know if it was.
Before it opened.
Yeah, we don't know if it was a rock, a kid. We have no idea what that was.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
That was it.
Any other questions? Great, thank you.
Now, Director of Finance, Greg Uspa.
Good evening, all. This is March's financial update. I regret to inform you that our long-standing purchasing assistant, Valerie Douglas, has announced her retirement effective June. She will be missed. She was a consummate professional. We're about to prepare the official statement for the town's next debt issuance. We will be converting $5.5 million of bands to permanent bonding, and we'll be raising an additional $2.5 million in bands for various road projects. We will be getting a ratings review sometime in June and go to market in July. Revenues. Revenues are at 94.7% of budget. On a straight line basis, we would expect to be at 75%. Tax collections are at 99.7% of budget overall, with current taxes at 99.2%. Most revenues are at or above budget at this time. Expenditures. Expenditures are on a cash basis or at 77.6% of budget. There are no overall concerns with expenditures at this time, with the exception of police, dispatchers, and land use overtime. I spoke to the chief, and his explanation was that he has shortages in manpower in both patrol and dispatchers, and that the offsets will be the savings in salary will offset the overages and overtime. I just signed off on a replacement dispatcher, so that should remedy itself fairly soon. Additionally, the chief is backfilling an SSO for the Board of Education, who in return is reimbursing the town for this expense. In summary, on a cash basis, revenues are $103,836,406.56, and expenditures are $77,901,913.16. Excuse me, leaving the town with a positive cash flow of $25,934,493.40.
Any questions for Greg?
So in comparing this to last year, this seems like very similar spot? Looking at last April.
I'll have to get back to you on that.
I did look at it. I left my notes at home, and it is very similar. So
Yeah,
I guess
typically-
we're projected to be in that type of a surplus again.
No,
So,
nowhere near that.
the last
kind of surplus.
20%?
We're gonna have a surplus, mostly on the revenue side of the budget. During the course of the official statement, I'm required to do financial projections on how we are intending to wind up this fiscal year. So I hope by next presentation I'll have an unaudited position of the town for this fiscal year. I don't expect it to be anywhere near what it was this past year in fiscal year '22. The three main drivers on the revenue side right now are interest income, the bond premium, and an additional 500,000+ we got from the state that we were not expecting. So between that right now, without netting them against expenditures, that accounts for about $2.5 million on the revenue side.
Okay, and then a few more questions. In the transfers and adjustments, so those big numbers, those are all
That's the money we would, some of the money that we get there would be from the WPCA debt reimbursement. So that we typically get. I inform them that I'm expecting that money, and we'll typically get that towards the end of the fiscal year.
But the total for both is about 8.5 million, right? Or no? So
no.
So
no.
3 million, 4 million in revenue. I mean, in budget, right? In expenses. Sorry.
The transfers in, there are two components to that.
Yes.
The waste management money for 500,000, and about 450 off the top of my head from the WPCA.
Okay. So the 3 million.
If we're gonna have a surplus, I'm obviously not gonna bring in the waste management money into the budget.
Which we haven't done, Greg, for how many years?
That's 2 years in a row we have not been, I have not had to transfer the money in.
Okay. So the 3,933,000 in the transfers and adjustments column of your expenditure budget total.
The transfers.
Are you looking at the budget or no?
Don't forget, don't confuse things, because remember, the incorrect budget was uploaded, and a majority of those transfers and adjustments were to make the correction for the difference between the 2022 budget and the 2023 budget. So the majority of the money that you're seeing there was a corrective measure.
So how do I see this in the budget if it's all been transferred and adjusted into this column? It's not in our budget.
Again, that's what the 2023 budget should have been. It would have to be at one point in time. I did that transfer, it had to be in September. And that also accounts for any budget adjustments I do throughout the course of the year. Any use of contingency funds and things of that nature, transferring from one budget category to another.
Which normally
budget.
comes before this council
Oh,
that
sure,
we vote on,
sure.
right? So I don't remember voting on, that's why I was
No,
taken by
that's,
$8.5
of
million.
course, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I informed everybody many times.
Okay. And then I think you mentioned this, but the police, the
Overtime.
The
yeah.
overtime. So what exactly is that? So the budget called for $50,000. That's what we budgeted.
No, that's a different line.
But we
item.
got
No, that's
700,000.
right.
So what is that exactly?
That's the services the town police provide for traffic control, say if
Elephant's
a
trunk or
road's
something?
being paved or if wires are being hung by Eversource, they'll hire
That's
officers
side
to keep
duty.
things, pardon me?
That's side duty.
Right, that's the side duty, that's not their regular overtime. That's, those expenses are covered by the company that hires the police for traffic control.
Like Elephant's Trunk on Sunday and stuff like that.
It's in the revenue.
Yeah, there's revenue that more than offsets those expenditures.
And then that got changed in this year's budget.
Going forward,
moving
next
forward.
year's budget,
You put it up higher.
Yes.
put it up
Because of
higher
the
to try and.
expenditures.
To about 400 or 300, I think it was.
Greg, you kind of evened it out, right?
Yeah, I looked at the last 3 years of actual expenditures and actual revenues.
Averaged it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm still a little confused about the transfers and adjustments, but maybe I'll call you and we can have our own conversation, not
Yeah,
give
no,
everybody
give me
here.
a call. I mean,
Yeah,
again, when, at the beginning of the year, FY '22 budget was uploaded because of a snafu. I had to make the correction to reflect FY '23's actual budget, and that, the only resolution was to do a transfer in. I had to take the FY '22 budget number and the FY '23 budget number, take the difference and do a massive budget transfer in order to reflect the FY '23 budget.
And that was done in September, you said?
That was done in September.
Any, Chris?
Pete, I think this question is for you. The police dispatchers overtime, this has been an issue for a while. Is it they can't find dispatchers? Is that the issue?
So there was, in the negotiated contract, which now we're going into our new one, there was a open Saturday where it was just overtime automatically. So the chief, working with the union, has allowed a per diem person to come in. So you'll begin to see these numbers come down. And then we also had 2 dispatchers. One was ill for quite some time.
Okay.
So that caused, he had overtime going up. We had another dispatcher in the middle of the year leave to go to another job. So it just took time finding people to come in to dispatch, which caused that to escalate.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, one last question. What was the deductible for the fire? Is that in, because that was that is in this, these should be in this numbers, right? Or is that not reflected in here?
The deductible?
Didn't we have to pay insurance? The town had to pay immediately to get insurance coverage for that fire? What was
I
that
have to ask
number?
Jack. I think it's like 10,000 or something.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's in
reflected
which
in the-
department?
Yeah.
That's in general, in the
In the
general
general.
insurance line.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Any other questions for Greg? Thanks, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
Item 9, ARPA funds. First, I'd like to move that we approve $25,000 of ARPA funds.
Katie, could I ask?
Oh, yes,
with
we're
the-
going,
With the,
right.
with the, okay from the council, instead of making these A, B, and C, should we
Sure.
make this a discussion of all of them
Sure,
together?
sure. Okay,
Which would be the RVNA ask, the affordable housing
Right.
ask, and then the United Way of Western
which I won't
Connecticut
discuss.
ask. Right.
I won't discuss that.
And the reason why I'm asking that we all look at this in totality is the actual thing that I gave to the last council that shows the actual bottom line number that we had left was $92,602.13. And out of there, as you can see, Carmela's Cupboard was approved by the council and then reviewed by the Board of Finance. So if you were to take that 40 out of there, that would leave 52,602.05 left. Speaking with Mary Jane, she had called and asked about there is some HVAC equipment that needs to get done at the Brookside Apartments. And when we first talked, it was about 40,000, which is what I put down as for the ask. Teresa had given me, McSpadden had given me a, it looks like a quote for like 65,000 for this, but it wasn't broken out as to what everything would need that they would look to do. My recommendation would be for the 40,000, put it out to bid like we would, see what we can get for the work that needs to get done, but make that recommendation for the 40. I then would make the recommendation for the 10 for the Healthy Savings from the United Way, and then the 2,500 for the RVNA to expand the Healthy Promotions Program.
25,000 or
2,500.
Oh, because there's a misprint, I was wondering.
Yeah.
All right.
The 2,500 for that.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And then I know, Katie, you wanted to talk a little bit about the United Way Healthy Savings Fresh Produce Program.
Sure, if you'd like me to.
Yep.
This is a United Way program. It started a couple of years ago, and here I brought it to the senior center a couple of years ago. And what it is, it's a card, looks like your grocery store card. And they scan it when you check out, and it provides anything in the produce department, $10 every week, free. There are also in the stores other discounts that don't affect that $10 that are, if you have that card, it allows you to get them. They're all things in the store, everything, dairy, cleaning products, paper products, whatever. And it's a program that we've had for now 2 years. It's extremely popular, and so the town of Washington was kind enough to use $10,000 of ARPA funds to support this. This is for the southern Litchfield County area, which includes New Milford, Washington, Warren, whatever. So as we pared down our ARPA funding, the mayor was agreeable to adding this in because it's a very big program in New Milford. We're the largest town, of course, of southern Litchfield. So we have the most users, and this would give 20 families, some people don't stay on it all the time or don't use it all the time if they get back to work or whatever. But it would give 20 families fresh produce every week for a year. And a lot of people have insurance programs. One of them is the United Health that also offers $40 a month for food. So in essence, this is $40 that they can spend on their rent or their car repairs, and if they have a medical insurance that allows more, well, so much the better. So it's extremely popular, and of course, and the families with children, it's pretty much a necessity to give growing children fruits and vegetables. I'll just say that about it, but I don't want to vote on it since I work for them.
And Mary Jane, do you want to talk about the HVAC?
Yeah, You know, ever since so I guess we opened in 2017, and we've had problems with the HVAC system. And, you know, constant, you know, either sometimes our clients, our tenants are breaking things, and we're in constant repair. And there are some major things that need to be repaired, and we just haven't been able to do the major things. We're just fixing as we go along. So we've got 12 families in there, and we have veterans in there, and domestic violence families in there. And they need their heat and they need their air conditioning, especially with the summer coming up. And you know, we're a nonprofit, and we have to rely on grants, and you know, it's not a money-making business in any way, shape, or form. So, you know, we would really appreciate getting anything at this point.
So is the 40K based on HVAC people coming in, assessing the situation?
Right, and actually it was an estimate that we got 2 years ago.
Okay.
And the updated one that we got it's even higher now.
Right.
So, you know, so we've got to just keep the maintenance up so that the system doesn't break and we don't have people, you know, either freezing or sweltering.
With the other projects, you know, put it out to bid, give a good description of scope of work, and put it
Go
out.
through the purchasing authority?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then do it through that scope of work there.
Yep.
So
And
we can
I
get this
noticed
HVAC stuff done.
other towns are gave ARPA funds to.
Yeah, they did. I think
Oh, yeah.
Morris gave like 150,000
Great, it's
to their affordable housing.
Yeah.
So
I
there's,
didn't know there were veterans doing that.
oh yeah.
Have you ever looked into some grants for that? Because that's one of the things that, the ability beyond, you know, they have a couple houses here,
Yeah.
and they got a grant.
We've been working, and we've just done 3 grants. So we're hoping, you know, we can get some more money. So, but we need everything we can get, basically. So, I mean, it's like we're not making money.
How old is that? How old is that, those buildings?
2017 we moved in.
Was it built then?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was older than that.
Yeah, not really. And then right after we moved in, I think we were there like 5 or 6 months, and a resident caused a fire, and it took out 5 units because of the sprinkler system. And, you know, I mean, we have all these expenses like, you know, insurance, that it was very hard to even get insurance after that. Nobody wanted to insure us because of the high-risk population. So we have a lot of big expenses.
So Katie, could you maybe put that in a motion?
Sure, I'll put it in a motion. You want to combine, right?
If that's okay with the council.
Okay, so I'd like to move that we use the ARPA funds for $2,500 for the RVNA Healthy Promotions Program. Set aside the $40,000 towards the New Milford Affordable Housing HVAC repairs, with the final estimates to be coming, and $10,000 for the United Way Healthy Savings Fresh Produce Program.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll
Abstentions?
abstain.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay.
Thanks a lot. Item 10, I'd like to take 10A and move that we set the date of May 8th for the town meeting for the appropriation of $40,000 of ARPA funds for Camella's Cupboard for the children's lunch program during the summer. That's the date, May 8th was suggested, and 6:45 p.m.
Do I have a second? And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Item 10B, I'd like to move that the council create an opioid settlement committee.
And within this tonight,
Is there a second?
Second.
we can discuss, Randy, the formation. I wanted to get a sense from the council is how many people would you want on the committee? And this would actually, you know, taking input and then bringing it back to the council as to
what the recommendations would be for the use of the funding that we'll get. I believe it's around 67,000 after all the tranches
65,
come in,
right.
what we would be using that money for.
Could I ask our
Okay.
town attorney, do you have any reference to other towns and what they've
I have
done?
references to other towns, but they're all over the place. There's 7, there's 9, there's 11, there's 5. But it doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason, other than the fact that there is a lot of money coming in their minds, which is not a lot of money.
Right.
And there are a number of stakeholders who want to be heard.
And there are criteria and and guidelines of what you can do with the money.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
But if there's 5 or if there's 7 or 11, they could follow those guidelines. What a couple of towns have is stakeholders, which is kind of a concern.
I read that, yeah.
You know about that, yeah. And so that's something that, it's a policy consideration. But I would assume that the council wants to have a representative core of this. In other words, a cross-section of the community. I would suggest 5 to 7, because I think that's workable. But that's only my experience as a municipal lawyer. I don't know that, but it seems to me that that's a workable number.
Well, it's 65,000, let's say. We deal with more than that, and there's 9 of us. So I suppose 5 to 7 would be a reasonable amount to say.
Yeah,
Pick
either
a
one
number.
I'd be fine with, yeah.
Pick a number.
Sal? 5 sounds good to me. The quicker the consensus, the better, right, at the end of the day? Randy, could you, for the next meeting, do a kind of a draft so that everybody could see kind of the finalization of...
Like the charge?
Yeah.
The charge of the committee?
Yes.
Sure.
And one other question, Randy, are there any criteria to the makeup of the committee?
No.
Okay, well, when I read about the stakeholders, I figured it was out the door.
Yeah, you've read the same thing I did.
Yeah.
There's going to have to be parents on this as a matter of common sense, to me, and perhaps an educator. A police, I don't know whether or not that's necessary, but the fact is you do want people who can be helped with this.
And what the funding has to be used, I mean, there's areas, we can't go down and build a...
Yeah, I'll get that information.
Yeah, so that might also lead us to, when we find that out, to what kind of
Sure.
person.
Sure. You know, one of the things you might want to consider, I've talked to a number of us have talked about this informally. You know, the DARE program has not been a big success.
I know.
So that's something you want to understand, that you might want to avoid that model, if you will, an in-school type model. But I don't have the answer, and none of my colleagues have the answer as to how to fix that. You know, we don't have the wisdom.
Right. Well,
But anyway, I'll get the information.
NM can, right. So we can talk about that. Yep, okay, so 5, do I have to redo, or we just decide that in the middle of this motion? 5 to 7?
Yep.
Okay, 5 to 7.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. Next is the...
Should we vote?
Oh, vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you.
Item 10C, I'd like to move on the formation of a fair rent commission.
And I had sent to everybody...
second?
I'm sorry, for discussion, yeah?
Yep, for discussion.
I'd sent to everybody, Randy had highlighted in, on the draft, his changes. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to see those. Anybody wants to talk about those?
Is there a...
But just clarification, they were not highlighted, the changes.
My copy was, yeah, like,
The red
you can see
underneath?
here, there was red on the
Right.
electronic
Oh,
copy. Yeah, see,
those
you
are
see
the
in
only
red
changes.
there?
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, that's the changes.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
So that's the only, I thought I didn't have, is that right? There's just those 2?
Yeah.
I looked at it online, and then when I saw this, okay.
I didn't hear, I was expecting to get some instruction from the town council.
I saw mine.
Yep.
And Chris?
But I didn't get it. So in any event, I drafted in here what I thought was necessary. One of the things that we've discussed, when I say we, I mean some of the colleagues and I have discussed, is a provision that you have meetings, not just for hearings.
Right.
They should have meetings for organizational
Right,
purposes.
of course.
And that there should be a report to the town council of those who have not obeyed the orders.
Yeah.
And in order for the town council to authorize litigation, in order to bring an injunction or whatever is necessary. That's not in the model ordinance, so I put it in here. But those are the things that I have, because I don't do policy. So if you want some changes that are policy, I'll tell you if they're lawful, and if they are, I'll put them in. But those are more housekeeping, if you will.
If we could just backtrack a little, and if you could just tell us what the procedure is going to be for this, because I would like to have a very full, robust discussion about what this is going to be. Absolutely. And it's very hard to get this when I'm working on a Monday and come and be able to, really participate in a meaningful way. I think this is a really, really important thing that's come to us. I think that without, with certain exceptions, Connecticut tenants do not have any means by which to oppose a rent increase at all. So in the absence of a fair rent commission, a tenant who refuses to accept the increase, they have two options. They can move out or be evicted. So the Connecticut courts have no general authority to decide on these issues. So I think this is a really nice piece of legislation. It's coming to our town to draft this ordinance. So I guess my point is, what is your procedure going to be? We have very limited amount of time, which is why I suggested we create an ad hoc committee that can sit around and hammer this thing out. Because if we just leave it to these town council meetings and yet we get it on the day of, we can't really do it right here, right now.
So my recommendation, Hillary, would be, I got this from Randy over the weekend, which I sent to you guys today, right? My recommendation is you guys can send whatever changes you made. There was only two, by Councilman Cosgrove and yourself. None of the other council opined on it. So to me, my thoughts are, we tell Randy, give him a directive. The goal, my thoughts would be, you would have this buttoned up by the first meeting in May.
But I guess what I mean by procedure is all of those changes that I sent, they're not in here.
I didn't see them.
So
I never got them.
So did you send forward him
Absolutely.
what I sent?
And I must not have seen them. I get 134 of those a day, so I probably just didn't see it.
So he hasn't
So
seen
everything.
So we're getting lost in the shuffle.
So
here.
everything I get, I push out. That's why I wanted us to do it all this way.
Okay, so
I'll get those in once I see them. I'll put them in. If they're lawful, I'll put them in.
okay, so you haven't seen the changes. I'm not saying they're all gonna, we gotta hammer it out. But
No,
so
here's
my point is,
if you send it the revisions,
uh-huh.
they're not in stone yet until you vote on them.
Right, exactly.
So I could put them in there anyway, as long as they're lawful. I could put them in there, and then you can discuss them. That's why I needed.
But we're running out of time. So my question to you, Mayor, is, so every change that all of us present is going to get put in, and then we're going to vote on it?
And they're lawful.
Anything that's lawful.
And then,
Of course.
and then as a council, you're going to decide, is this one going to stay in or is it going to go out?
Okay, so, all right, all right.
You know,
And I apologize, I didn't see them.
if Randy sees them, it first of all says they're unlawful, then it's out anyway.
Yeah.
But if it's not unlawful, he puts it on the draft, and then we talk about it at the meeting and decide if that's something you want to do or not want to do.
Okay, it's been 2 meetings. I sent those to you, weeks ago, so they're not included in here. I'll do it again, I'll send them again, but then there are even some changes from this that I have. So basically, you just want to get all of our changes directly.
Yeah, I thought that was the whole idea.
Right, but you're saying you didn't get them, so I'll go ahead.
I didn't see them. I'm saying I probably got them, I just didn't see them. That happens, but I did not see them.
Okay, but are you going to see them now if I send them?
Sure, I will, but
Okay.
if I look for them, but.
So what I'll do is, when you say you send them to me, I'm going to send them to Randy and then CC the town council.
Yes.
That way you're not creating a quorum. And you'll see that they're there.
Okay. And then all of our changes are going to be included in the draft if they're lawful.
They're
and then
redlined.
we're gonna
They'll be
go-
redlined.
And they'll be redlined. And then we're going to go through in a meeting
Correct.
and vote on each and every section.
Absolutely.
And change. Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
So I have a question, Randy. And I wondered, what happened to what you said, but, because I knew you would do more than two things. So, what about we were provided in the very first document? We're adding things, we're changing words. Can something be removed?
Sure. As long as it doesn't violate the statute.
The statute,
Right.
okay.
In
So,
other words, you can't eviscerate the statute.
no,
An example that Hillary requested about procedures,
yes,
you don't have authority to do the procedures. That's done by the
That-
committee.
okay,
That's done by the commission.
Right.
They do the procedures.
okay. So, all right, that's what I want to know, as long as it doesn't decimate the statute.
Right, exactly.
Okay, got it.
So we're saying that the next meeting is gonna be, we're gonna have all the answers?
Well, you have.
All the questions or whatever? I used the wrong words, so that we don't go back and forth all the
Yeah,
time.
so
So it's gonna
Sal-
be one meeting.
So Sal, what'll happen is if you read this again,
Okay.
right, the next day or so, and you sit here and say, I want to make a change,
Yeah.
right? You're going to make the change on the Word doc that you have on this. Send that in. All the changes I send to Randy, CC you guys,
Yep.
because then I'm not creating a quorum, right? Then at the next meeting, Randy will have a whole revised one, and we're going to go over all of them
Right.
and vote on them.
So would it be
So-
fair if we send those changes like you, Hillary?
Right.
And you CC everybody in the town council so we can have it as well, versus just a personal
Well,
email?
I thought you said you were going
Gotta
to.
come from
Yep,
there.
you're gonna get a copy.
Right.
You're gonna send it to me, then I'm gonna
So
CC
you're
the,
gonna be the
I'm gonna send it to Randy,
Yes.
but CC all
so
of
you will
you.
be the
so-
relay for that?
Yes.
Correct, so that way you're not,
I'd like to ask that
Either
we
or,
choose a
it works
date.
with me as long as we all have it.
yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to ask that we choose a date by which we all present our thoughts, our changes, because otherwise we're going to be talking about this next meeting. Pick the date.
But I would like to make a request that we pick a date where all of our suggestions are submitted. You confirm submission, and then we receive your draft with all of our submissions at least 3 days before the
At
meeting. So
least.
not on Monday
Right.
of the town council meeting
I agree.
when I'm working until 5 o'clock at night and can't read it.
So Randy,
Is that possible?
backtracking that,
I'm back.
and you have two weeks between today and the
Don't
next
forget, I
one.
was on trial last week.
I know.
With a New Milford case, by the way.
Yeah, oh, I'm not, there's no slacking. I'm just talking about this one issue. So we just.
Oh, no, I understand. I get it done.
So for you,
Okay.
but for Randy, for you to have the time to do that for the council, when would you want to have their input?
What I would like to do is I'd like to get this done for the next council meeting.
Okay.
Yes, but we need to have all the red line items that you'll allow that are not unlawful in this doc
By May 5th.
and sent to all of us to have some time. So we're having a meeting on the 8th of May,
Our meeting's on the 8th,
right?
not by the 5th.
I don't think we want to have it, but just by Friday before.
No, I can't get it done that fast. If I have to get it to you 3 days before.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's 3 days.
I don't know when I'm gonna get all the material.
We're going to get it, that's what we're going to
We're
decide right
backing it
now.
up, so we'll
When do
get-
you need it by? To get it to
I
us
need
by
it,
May 5th?
I need it by
when do you
5
need
to
it?
6 days before, so I
Okay.
can draft it into the document.
So council members, can we get our thoughts and changes
By this
into the
Thursday.
document
By Friday.
by May 1st? That's a week before our council meeting.
That's
Yes.
fair.
Yes.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay.
So
Paul,
May
everybody?
1st.
And then I can knock it off, I could finish it off, I should say,
Okay. feel
by
like I'm
that
at work.
Thursday.
So May 1st.
May 1st,
We are all.
that's the deadline. So,
So send it in on the 1st, I'll
people-
confirm it,
Tom, Doug, not
and then
here.
send it.
Alex.
And I'm sorry I
And then
didn't see that.
confirmed we're getting it back on.
Correct.
Right.
Do you want me to send
When?
directly to the council, so you don't have to?
Can
do
you-
it?
can
It's
you
not a
do
meeting
that?
if I do it.
Then that's even better.
Can
That's
you do
even
that,
better if you
Randy?
can do that.
That'd be perfect. Then, yeah, you're
I
out
just need,
there.
I just need accurate email
When
addresses.
do you
Right.
send it out?
Sometime
Okay.
in the
When is he sending it
It's gonna,
Send
you're
it to
gonna,
us by the 5th.
out? Okay.
Or
Right.
directly to us, not through.
that's the Friday
Yeah, that
before.
saves a step.
So that means that weekend,
Yeah.
clear our calendars. Okay, so May the 1st, the council people, you have to have it there. That's it.
Great.
Are we gonna put our names to the proposed changes, or?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Why shouldn't we, right?
I don't
I
know
need
who
to
made
respond
these.
if
No,
not.
fair enough, no, fair
I
enough, that's what I'm
gotta
saying,
pass
so
it
we get
on.
unanimous.
And Randy,
because
just
there's
so
no
I'm
reason
doing it
to be
right,
unanimous.
because we just talked about a different type of change.
I
You
would
want the
support
council to
names.
send their changes directly to you?
Yeah, I would like them to do
All right,
that.
so
They
it's
could do
going-
that. I'm not a member of the town council,
That's perfect.
Right.
so I'm a higher.
So send it directly to, does everybody have Randy's email?
And Randy, could I ask that after you receive it, that all you need to do is just auto-reply and
I
say,
will absolutely
got
reply.
it, thank you.
I apologize, I didn't see it.
It's okay.
I just didn't see it. It doesn't
all right.
happen.
Okay.
So let's put this in the
Great.
meeting, a meeting notice.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for Randy or anything else concerning
Okay,
the Fair Rent Commission? Nope. Moving forward.
yes, we do.
Yeah, we're gonna take,
Yeah.
can we table the
I'll
motion?
withdraw my motion. Withdraw your second.
Yep, withdraw the second.
Perfect.
Okay, now, item number 11, I'd like to move that we go into executive. Didn't we vote on
real
that?
quick?
We did. I have an okay. The opioid?
No,
Yeah,
10D.
development report.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Economic
D.
development.
Oh, my goodness.
So,
Yeah.
just briefly, real quick, I know we have to go into executive session. I want to congratulate Johanna Kaffney for opening up her Ecuadorian themed store. Usia Veredes, which is at 145 Danbury Road, which is in Lori's Plaza. It has from Ecuador t-shirts, handcrafts, beauty products, purses, children's suits and dresses for baptisms, first communions, other special occasions, kitchen tools, soccer balls, sheet sets, piñatas, gifts created for Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, and it's great to see her and her family
Yeah.
opening up. Want to congratulate Rolando and his family as yesterday you had the grand opening of C&C Deli, which is on 40 Danbury Road,
Yeah.
which is right next to the Great Wall.
And it's good.
China's very good food. Great selection of breakfast, lunch, and dinner options. They're open from Monday through Saturday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., Sunday, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. And thank you, Congress. Thank you, Councilman Cosgrove. And we had Senator Harding there as well to help with the grand opening. Also, for those that are in the food industry, the Connecticut Food and Beverage Business Growth Summit is happening. And that is on 4/26 from 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Tickets are $35. And the event is targeted towards existing food and beverage businesses that have demonstrated a desire to grow.
Where is that?
That's online, and you can go to the mayor's Facebook page and click on the link to that. This coming Sunday is going to be the grand opening of Cool Hand Duke's Tavern, which is right down here, 2 p.m. So hopefully the council can come and congratulate the grand opening of Cool Hand Duke's
day?
Tavern. That would be Sunday, this Sunday, 2 p.m. This Saturday at 4 p.m. is the Sip and Stroll, which is going to be downtown. It's the spring version. There's two. There's the spring, and then there's the holiday one. So if you get a chance, I think there's still maybe some tickets available
Yes, there's a few.
for the Sip and Stroll this Saturday, 4 to 7 p.m. And that's what I have so far.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Item 11, I'd like to move that we go into executive session and invite Assessor Brian Lastra, Attorney Randa DiBella. John Tower isn't with us, so.
Second.
He's where?
Any discussion on going to executive session? All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you.
Okay. He's in Japan. Okay?
And we're back.
Okay, move to return to regular session. During executive session, no motions were made, no votes were taken. Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
All right.
Thank you.
Like to move that we settle the Shunk case in line with the discussion that was had during executive session.
Is that SCHUNK?
I have no idea.
S-C-H-U-N-K.
There you go.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Sal?
Motion to adjourn.
Second, everybody.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, everyone.